Hi YouTube, it's Diane. Today is December 29th, 2019. Hope you all had a really good Christmas. We had a good one. Weather wasn't too bad. It was warm. I mean, it was still cloudy, foggy type of weather, but for Minnesota, it's pretty good. So this is a regular update video. My last video was my 2020 plans. Oh, and one thing I said I was going to do in this video, I almost forgot. One moment, please. Okay, somebody asked to see my puppies. This is Mozzie. Here's my Mozzie. Hi, my Mozzie. And this is Stormy. Say hi. Look. Say hi. And they're both really excited. Yes, you're both really excited, aren't you? I don't have any food. So, this one, Stormy, my cream-colored Labradoodle. And this one is Mozzie, my apricot-colored handsome fellow. Say hi. Oh, there you are. That was a good picture. That was good. So, I will send them out in just a moment. Okay, they are 2 years old. Still a lot of puppy left in them. But, yeah, we've had them since January 2018. Yeah, so almost 2 years. Anyway, I have been doing some fully finished things. Got in the mood, and I thought, you know what, just do it. So let's start with this one. This one is Yellow Submarine by Blackbird Designs. I do not have the pattern anymore to show you. It is stitched on 36 count NYX NYX under the sea fabrics. I did not necessarily use all the called for colors. Did I show these last? I don't think I showed these last video. I did not necessarily use all the called for colors, but I did use overdyes. And I did a video showing what I used. This frame was Hobby Lobby. It was in their open stock frames. It was 50% off. It's an 8x10 frame. I'm not sure if it's 100% done because Hobby Lobby sells like an anchor and I saw an anchor and I saw like a lobster and or something else. So I might add something to the frame, but the basic is done. And it's pretty simple, clear cut. Yellow Submarine. This is Miss Daggerwing by Nora Corbett. This is a 9x12 frame, open stock. I got it at Hobby Lobby, again 50% off. She is stitched on 28 count Rubius. Picture this plus. I used all the called for floss, but I changed the beads. I think I might have said that in a different video what numbers I used, but she is done. She's on my wall. And then on Christmas Eve, I got in the mood to do some fully finished things. I have this. This is Miss Solar Ellipse, Nora Corbett. She is stitched on 32 count Phoenix. Picture this plus. And this is Miss Lole's Daggerwing, stitched on Fiberlicious's Hidden Treasures, 32 count. This was a two-sided clock, and I obviously took the clocks out. And this is how they are finished on the inside, so I could pull them out of this fairly easily if I wanted to finish them in a different way. There is a hook to hang this on, and this will be hung on the wall this week. I think I figured out a place so my boys don't come along and go whoosh. Yeah. So this is another fully finishing idea. And then we have this one. This is Barnwood Buttons, Rosewood Manor. Wanted to finish this one for a long time. What this is from the Home Decor at Hobby Lobby. Because this is stitched on 32 count Barnwood, the called for fabric in the called for floss with the called for buttons. I changed the verse, but everything else is is as pattern. But because it's so narrow, or long, but it's narrow, it's not very tall, it's hard to find a frame. I found one and it was just, if it was 1 inch bigger, it would have been absolutely perfect. But this is a sign, one of their sign things that I found at Hobby Lobby. It had seashells painted on it. So what I did is I put warm and natural batting, taped that down, and then I used stitchery tape, and I went around the edges and I stretched it, and then on the corners I was really careful and made my corner line up here and here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. And I know the lighting in this room, it's just the way it is. But it is now done and it'll be going on my wall. I'm thinking I'm going to put it in my kitchen where I redid the wall in a white shiplap. I will say the buttons do move a little bit on here. But it's done and it looks good. And I'm excited to get it up on my wall. Now this is the fully finished FFO that I really, really was so glad turned out so well. This is not a Priscilla finish per se. I've never seen her do this pattern or do this particular finish, but since she has been sharing her genius with all of us through YouTube, Facebook, etc., I'm definitely looking at signs and trays and all of that totally differently than I did before. And here is the piece. This is a piece that my middle daughter stitched. It is stitched on 28 count Royal Navy by Zweigart. It is Jobelin. So it's an even weave. This was her first even weave she stitched on. And then the original was supposed to be done on 10 count Heatherfield, which they don't make anymore. And it called for Watercolors by Karen Collection. Watercolors is a 3-stranded cotton and it's really thick. You usually use only 1 strand at a time. It's very thick. It's not a DMC thickness, it's definitely thicker. They also have Wild Flowers. Wild Flowers is also cotton, but it's about the thickness of a Pearl Cotton 12. And so you can get many of the colors in one line of Karen Collection is available in a different line. And that was the same between Wildflowers and Watercolors. Watercolors was called for. Wildflowers was thinner, so I had her use Wildflowers for the colors. And I was going to pull the pattern. What it was, I can't show any kind of cover chart or cover sheet. Essentially, if you bought the buttons, you got the pattern for free, and it's called Life is Sweet, and it's just another button company, so JABC, number 8311X, if it's still available. To my knowledge it is, but things go out of print so fast it's hard to keep up. But it's stitched up really quickly, and there was supposed to be candy corn on the noses, and we left that out. But it's really cute. Now, I went to Joann's. I've been thinking of putting it on a red tray, or a tray I could spray paint red. I went to Joann's, and they had this sign from their like hometown holidays, or handmade holiday wall decor. I have no idea if these are still available. But they had it, if you bought one, you get 2 things free. So this I paid full price, about $25. This was free. This was another sign, and it said Happy Holidays or something. But it was deep, and so I knew, excuse me, I knew I could pop this in here. So I stretched this on foam core that was covered in a thin coat of warm and natural batting. When you have buttons like this, or like buttons on the barnwood buttons, it's recommended you have a little bit of padding to let the button kind of sink into, give a more even finish. And so I cut the foam core, stretched it. I had it just a wee bit too big, too tall. so I fixed that, but then I popped it in there. It's not going to come out. It is all removable. If she wanted to refinish this at some point in the future, she could. And then I just had eyelet screws, and I got a little bit of chain and hung that on there. So it's 2 different signs, and I hung them on chain, put it together. So even though this isn't a Priscilla finish, it definitely is Priscilla inspired. So I thought it turned out cute, and these colors work so well. And so she has been allowing me to use it as a Christmas decoration, so it'll go back in her room, because we'll be taking down our Christmas tree this week. And yeah, so she has a few more FOs that I have to FFO. So I really am being Priscilla, finishing stuff for my daughter, but I thought that's my favorite one. So I had to show that one. Christmas haul. My hubby gifted me this light, which Stitching Roadie shared on one of her videos, and I looked it up and I really liked it because I was looking for a new light. And so that should give you all of the information that you need by Bright Tech. I got it on Amazon. It can be a table lamp or it can be a floor lamp. I'm using it as a floor lamp over in my corner. It's higher than my previous light, so it works great in here. So that was a Christmas stitching gift. This was one also from my husband. I'm not wearing it because I have to wash it, but he gifted me a hoodie with mondotstitches on it. So I've been wearing it. Yes. But those are, oh, and he gifted me a gift certificate to Stitchville. So, and I used that Friday night when I went to Stitch In. So we had a really good Christmas. It's kind of nice to have that couple days of breathing, and then you have to take everything down and rearrange. Thursday, 2 days ago, we deconstructed our old piano. I did. It took like 5 hours. When you start taking a piano apart, you have to be careful. Very, very, very careful. And I watched several videos and all of that before I even thought I could do it. And my hands got all beat up. I was just bleeding because the string would cut or this would cut, but it's down. We have a new keyboard which we bought for the kids for Christmas. So that's all set up. So it's been a pretty eventful week so far. Put that over there. So let's talk whips. If you did not watch my 2020 plans video, you may not have seen this whip. Let Freedom Ring, Lila Studios. I have not stitched any more since that video on this particular piece, but if you didn't see it, here is where it is now. The last time I showed it in a regular update video, the building was completely done. Now this motif and this motif are completely done, and this is the start of the border. So it's looking really great, and this is 36 count properly primitive under the sea fabrics. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. The other whip that I've been stitching on since last update video is this one, Hibernation Day. Heartstring sampler. I know Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, showed a finish, FFO of that. I am stitching on 28 count Wren, picture this plus, and I have more progress since I even did my planning video. So I have 4 parts done, and I'm working on the 5th part. So the first part goes to about right in here, the second part in here, third part in here, 4th part goes to just the top of this basket below the words, and now I'm working on the 5th part. Some remaining baskets, and there's a line of initials I'm skipping, and I'm just going to bring the other 2 bands up. So there's 2 more bands after the baskets, and this will be done. I'm stitching in all the called for colors except the white that's called for because the white didn't show up on my fabric. So I went with a Carrie's Creation Cotton Polar Bear. It's a brighter white, not as bright as B5200 and not as creamy as 3865, but I do like it on this fabric. So I am going to have enough room down here. I was kind of getting concerned. But if you are going to stitch this, do remember that this cabin, this area of the cabin, is not stitched. So your fabric that you're stitching it on will show through. That may affect any color choices that you want with that particular pattern. So let's talk haul. I believe, again, was it Barb? I think it was Barb Lost and Floss. She was talking about, you know, when you fully finish something, it takes time away from stitching, and sometimes you have to be in the mood to fully finish. And for me, if I'm not in the mood to stitch, I might be in the mood to fully finish. So this is one I received. It's Heartstrings Samplery Ding Dong Ornaments. 5 different ornaments, and they're hung on a garland. I'm definitely doing the ornaments in this shape. I'm not sure about hanging them on a garland. We will see. But I ordered the fabric, which is Vintage Country Mocha, and I kitted up the flosses. There are 5 flosses for this one. So that is going to go on my 2020 list. I also, when I went to stitching last time, I have 2 different events that I might go in a month, and one is on a Saturday and one is on a Friday night. And when I went on Saturday last time, somebody was sharing their magazines, and this was in there. Isn't that beautiful? I think she's gorgeous. It's a Joan Elliott, and I know it's available as an individual pattern. Stitch of Beauty is what it's called in here. But yeah, it's beautiful. And my daughter, who went with me, people were helping find magazines for her. I also picked up Imperial Lady D and Miss Simbi, or Corbett. This finally came. Songbird series number 12. I ordered this in October, and Annie sent it and never showed up. She sent me another one in November, never showed up. This one from December, we figured out the post date, like the 3rd or something. It did show up. So if those others show up, we'll figure that out. But now I have all 12 of these. I need to figure out when to get them into my schedule. Fabric of the month. Fiberlicious. This is November. It's called November Rain. I've been getting 32 count recently, and this is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure what I'm going to stitch on this, but it's beautiful. And this one came the day I was editing my 2020 plans. And again, Fiberlicious. This is Evergreen, 32 count. I know this one is definitely in her regular line. And beautiful. Ooh, I might use this side. Each side of hand dyed is just a wee bit different if it's a true hand dyed. So you get a different effect with different sides of your fabric. I also did the nest egg with Trisha. I'm getting 10 Gentle Arts to build up my collection. And then at Stitchville on Friday, with the gift certificate my husband gifted me, I picked up Merry Christmas by Abby Rose Designs and 'Tis the Season by Abby Rose Designs. And I'm thinking I have this 32 count doubloon by Picture This Plus. They might look really good on there. And on this one, I don't know if I'm going to get all the overdyes, but you can see the variegation in the bell color, which is a heritage gold, and in the red, which I don't remember the color. So I might just use just those 2, and then everything else DMC. She does give you DMC alternatives, and I think they'd be beautiful either way. And then I bought Jen's 24 Hours of Cross Stitch planner, and this is the planner that I'm using. It's disc. This is by Office Max, Office Depot. They're the same company. Just one area of the country will say one name and one area will say another. This is just a regular notebook. It's just a regular notebook, but it has some calendar pages in it, and it is the Tull line that's only available at Office Max to my knowledge. And I got a thing of graph paper. I'm using this type of planner notebook for my homeschool planner, and I love it. Love adding, and it's not too bulky, and it just fits so well for me, so I knew that's the kind I wanted. And then Marie from Just Add Needles, she does a drawing every month, and I won this pattern. I don't remember if it was, I think it was October. But then she moved, and I finally received it. This was my unicorn chart. Mother's Arms by Nora Corbett. I had started stitching this, and then we ended up having water in our basement, and it got ruined. So I threw it, and then I said, well, I could always just use my pattern. Well, when I got my pattern out, the pattern must have gotten wet, and I didn't realize it, and part of it was kind of questionable. Of course, by then it was out of print. But this was my unicorn pattern, and now I have it in my collection. I don't have plans on starting it in 2020, but I just love that quilt on that baby. Oh, just beautiful. Just beautiful. It's pretty much full coverage. Not 100%, but it's pretty close. So I don't really have a unicorn chart right now. I mean, I have charts I'd like, but that was definitely a unicorn chart. What else do I have? I think that's all I have to show. Giveaway. My giveaway closed yesterday. Thank you, those of you who entered. And I've done the drawing using random number generator. And so number 1 was the Barnwood buttons. What's this piece? Now my mom has stitched this on different fabric. She stitched it once where she made all the stems green and all the flowers different colors. And then she got some fun buttons from probably Hobby Lobby. She also stitched it for herself on a lighter fabric with a darker floss, and she used buttons from my great-grandmother, her button collection that she gave my mom before she passed away. So there are many options with this pattern. But it's the pattern and a wooden corner gauge. And Stitchville, they have their regular number on here, but they also have a 1-800 number too. If you want to order anything from them, they'll ship anywhere. It's actual shipping plus $2. And this goes to Stitching Mommy, Sarah. Sarah, if you haven't moved, I have your address from before when I sent you some Petite Treasure braid. But if you've moved, give me your new address. Otherwise, I'll send it. I'll send at the end. My goal will be to have this out by January 6th. Otherwise, I'll send it to that address. Just let me know. And Lily of the Woods by Mirabilia, another corner gauge, Virginia Miller. And number 3 was Over the River by Jeanette Douglas. Put this on here. And that's Christy Donay. Again, please get in touch with me, ladies. Virginia and Christy, let me know your address so I can ship it to you by, my goal will be to have it out my door by January 6th. Sarah, if your address has not changed, just let me know and I'll send it to the address I have. As for the international, it was $15 US international. And so prize number 4, Stitching Joanne, who we've been conversing pretty much since day 1 on YouTube. She does her own videos when she can. So Joanne, just get in touch with me. And number 5, again, international. Pick You My Stitches. That's your YouTube name. $15 US equivalent. So you two winners, please get in touch with me. Let me know where, we'll figure out the digital gift certificate thing from wherever you would like to order. Again, you know, there's Etsy shops, there's like Heaven and Earth getting a PDF, there are other designers you can get PDFs from. So let me know and we'll talk. And the easiest way to get a hold of me, it's more reliable than the YouTube Messenger thing, because I go through that and sometimes I get messages and other times they will disappear for months and then all of a sudden they'll be sitting there. mondotstitches.com, I'll put this in the box below, or on Instagram, mondotstitches, because I know you can message through Instagram. So either one of those ways, ladies. Winners, let me know. Addresses for those who have a physical pattern and where I should do the digital thing for those that are international. I know Joanne's in the UK. I'm not sure. Pick You My Stitches. But congrats. Glad you won. Thank you for participating. Thank all of you who comment. Several of you comment on every one of my videos. May you know who you are. I so appreciate it. I really, really do. And some of you have asked questions, and feel free to email me if you have questions, because I did receive some questions via email. And if I miss one, email me again. Just sometimes, you know, life, and you get whoosh. So plans are to stitch. Do some homeschooling planning to start that again on the 6th. And another gift I get this week is an hour and a half massage. So like that. But I hope you all have a safe and good New Year. We had an ice storm go through last night. I don't like ice storms. They're a little more dangerous than snowstorms in many ways. But I thank you for watching and subscribing and being with me for 5 years, and it's a pleasure to be part of this community. It really, really is. And I thank all of you. And love to you all.